meeting. We'll start with that one first.
I haven't read it, though.
Does anybody have any corrections that they've seen,
Two.
misspellings?
Not that I could see. I didn't read the first page, though. I read the last pages.
Maybe this is-
On the back. Oh, right. Yes.
Anything? Anybody? Everybody good?
Then I would make a motion,
Oh,
ask
yes.
for a motion to adopt as printed.
I make a motion to adopt the July 19 minutes.
Mr. Mueller has made a motion to adopt the
I'll
minutes. Mr. Parsons has seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, also before you is a special Mount Healthy City Council meeting, August 2nd, 2022. Anybody have any corrections for this?
I think I got that one.
Did it really last 7 minutes?
I'm not sure it did, but that's okay.
See if we can
Yes,
break
it
that
did,
record.
okay.
I would ask for a motion to
To
adopt
August
if nobody
16th,
has
I
any
don't have that
corrections.
I make a motion to adopt the special.
Ms. Dosa has made a motion to adopt.
A second.
Mr. Parsons seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is carried. Guest and special events. They're not here yet.
So there was a, it's called the PACE program. An organization can get a loan, and basically they kind of use the city to kind of facilitate the loan. Two of the lenders were supposed to be here to present. I don't know. I'll leave it up to you, Scott, if you, and Scott was going to just help because he was looking at the legislation and.
Exactly. So I've never personally done a paper before, but I talked to
You're on TV.
Candy camera.
I've never been personally involved in a PACE loan before, but it sounds, when they were explaining it to me, I had a Zoom meeting with two of the attorneys from Brickell and Eckler, and it made a lot of sense to me. I asked some other entities, former administrators, about if they, who have been involved with PACE loans before. And in this case, it has to do with Hilltop Plaza, and I think it really, it has to do with, I think it's like energy related. And in this regards, they're going to improve the entire roof of the Hilltop Plaza. And I think what happens is PACE is kind of, it's been, there's different states. There's different PACEs for every state, and I think Ohio actually is one of the more active states in the U.S. that utilizes this program. But based on these energy kind of things, they've got a group. They find people who are in need of energy improvements, and they help them get loans maybe they wouldn't have otherwise got. They get better rates. They have PACE lenders, and so what happens is, and this is what's kind of surprising to me, is the mortgagee has to sign off on it. So whoever's the lender on the Hilltop Plaza would have to kind of step aside and let PACE take priority. So if there's ever foreclosure, the loan that would be made for this roof would take priority, be paid off first before the first loan on the property, which is obviously you have to have a good relationship with your lender in that regard. I thought they were going to be here today and present. I was just going to kind of I thought I would help if they had any questions, kind of assist them, but. There's no legislation that is before you at this point, and so I think the hope is at the next meeting there will be some legislation that hopefully you can consider and kind of see what's good. I asked, like I said, other administrators. We're just a go-between. We essentially, by utilizing us, it's a greater security because of the fact that the loan goes in front. So that's how they're able. The PACE lender is able to provide a lower interest rate on and whatnot, and just like any other government lien, the government gets its money first, and so that's kind of how it plays out.
What is our involvement?
We're just a go-between to get the political subdivision involved to go. I mean, as far as a pass-through for the most part, a pass-through.
How's the pass-through?
Well.
It works just like the lead lines with Cincinnati Waterworks. It works just like that. The loan the PACE lenders do the whole process, but it goes, the loan will be assessed to the property, and then we get the money
property-
from the county, and then
The
we just.
property taxes,
And then we pay it directly to the PACE.
Okay, they pay it on
loan.
their, they
So
pay
we
their
wouldn't-
payment?
We wouldn't be involved with the owner of Hilltop at all. We work with these PACE.
They pay their
Look.
payment through their property tax, which we then get, and we pay the lender.
Yes.
It only works
yes.
because they agreed, this is all voluntary on behalf of the property owner.
Yeah, so we would not be lending any money, we would just be getting it and then transferring it.
Not liable in any way.
Right, just, other than just transferring the money
Okay.
to the bank.
And if we don't get it, we don't pay it? Or do we still have to pay it?
No, if they don't
No.
pay it, then I guess at that point, then.
That's where they're starting to
that's-
foreclosure
Yeah,
or,
that's where there's issues then, and I
We
think,
would just say we
Yeah.
had not received it.
I would have given a better presentation had I known I was gonna be presenting.
and who were you expecting to be here?
There were a couple of
Hilltop?
attorneys, well, Christopher Jones is the head of the PACE program for Ohio, and then also, and their office is right around the corner from mine, not too far. They're located in the Cincinnati, I think Mason area, so, but then also Brickell and Eckler are the attorneys who put together a lot of the forms and whatnot as well. So, unless anyone has any other questions.
Does everybody understand what this is?
Yes.
Is
It's
this-
really exciting reading, by the way, when you get that.
I bet it is.
We'll let you do that.
Well, we can interrupt the meeting if they do show up and get to them. But then we'll move on if there's no more questions on the PACE program. Public input. Anybody here who would like to address council? Jim, that would be you. Okay. Committee reports, Business Partnership and Alliance, Mr. Young.
I have no report.
Beautification, Ms. Lingo.
No report.
Finance, Mr. Parsons.
I have no report, but I'm going to call a committee meeting prior to the September 20th council meeting, 6 o'clock in the city manager's office, to review actual versus budget through August and to discuss some of the factors going forward to next year's budget.
Okay. Parks, Ms. Lingo.
No report.
Safety and Streets, Mr. Redding. School, Mr. Cordell. George.
No report, but school starts tomorrow.
Summer's over.
Yes.
Library, Ms. Dosa.
No report.
We Thrive.
No report.
Okay. Mayor's report, Mr. Wolf.
Just two things.
Mr. Bittner.
Oh, my
I got
God,
a
I
tree
did it
commission
again.
report. Tree.
Urban Tree.
Oh,
And I
Urban tree.
apologize, it's lengthy, from Karen here. Commission has a full complement of 5 members now, with Dwight, I'm not sure if this is pronounced correctly, Weese, W-E-E-S-E, and Aaron Horsley as new members, though Aaron is awaiting being appointed by the mayor. The Tree Commission met in June and August and is planning a tree planting on second Saturday of October, with the third Saturday as a rain date. They'll be putting out calls for volunteers from the community and from the University of Cincinnati. Streets chosen are Elizabeth, particularly the south end, and a short portion of Stevens. They want to try to do the plantings on Stevens as an experiment in traffic calming, as it has been found that drivers slow down when driving on tree-lined streets. Trees will be selected for appropriate size for the spot, and they will send out notices to the residents about the plans, and the neighbors will have the option to opt out, though we hope that a minimum number will do so. Perry and Maple streets are looking really good, and they're an example of what we want to see on other streets. Judy Harmon and Karen Arnett spent 2 hours last Sunday pruning trees on Elizabeth and Perry, and they're leaving chicken wire collars on some of the trees to protect them from string trimmers, which can cause permanent damage to the tree in seconds. 3 of them will be attending the freshman portion of the Tree Commission Academy in September. 2 for the first time, 1 as a repeat refresher. The 4-part program is a 40-hour course and is comprehensive training put on by the Urban Forestry Division of Ohio of Natural Resources. It's not limited to tree commissioners, as the city administrator and public works staff from various municipalities attend as well. Anyone in the city government is interested in supporting the tree program may attend, though advanced registration is required. And finally, a former tree commissioner, Tom Davis, who worked for many years as a municipal arborist and has an abundance of experience and knowledge, has agreed to rejoin us in advisory capacity. Tom lives on Bernard and is limited to in what he can take on owning to have a stage 4 level of cancer. But we are grateful for him sharing his experience with us, and that's it.
Thank
So
you.
if anybody
Denise.
wants to volunteer, let me know. I'll get it to Karen.
Okay, thank you, Denise. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, now, I hope I got this right. We'll go to the mayor's report, Mr. Wolf.
Yep, just a few things. First of all, there's supposed to be a We Thrive meeting today. It was postponed until next week. Just happened at the last minute. So that will be next Tuesday at 5 o'clock at Teakin Farm. Ray wanted me to remind everyone that the summer concert series does continue, even though we're going back to school. And the last one is on September 9th. So they are still continuing. September 4th is the farmer's market. And then the main thing we do ask council to go into executive session tonight. So if someone can make that motion, would like to discuss the potential purchase of property. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. Questions for the mayor?
Is the pool closed now?
Yes.
Closed over the weekend?
I don't know the last day.
Friday.
Friday?
Friday was the last day? Okay.
Okay, city manager report, Mr. Bauer.
Got a few things that are all pretty quick hits here. Obviously, Hamilton Avenue has started. Hooray for that. Just kind of FYI, so the Forest Madison project, just wanted to say that all the paperwork has gone through and accepted, and the expected start date for that is March 15th of next year. Ambulance update. Steve went up to Van Wert, Ohio to inspect the chassis and the box that goes on the back. He's got pictures. He's going to send them to me. I can forward them on to everyone. It's pretty cool to kind of see the inner workings of all that stuff. But I guess the expected delivery is sometime in October. Let's see. Tomorrow's school. So I met with superintendent. It was a good meeting. It seems like everything's going to go back to normal with policing, and looks like Officer Dunn, who was the same one last year, who would go on campus. It's going to be the same officer. I'll continue to meet with her monthly. I think in your packets, there's active shooter training that the police department did with the school district. They're going to start doing that each year. We had a number of officers and 2 from Springfield Township. Hopefully it'll get more attendance each year. That was pretty good. Let's see. They did the book bag giveaway on Friday. 1,000 book bags, shoes, sports bras. They had bounce houses, burgers. It was a good turnout, good event. Next year we'll do something similar again. Either it might be the night out or it could be something else with the school. We'll kind of plan that. Levy is on the ballot. I think that's all I got. That's all I had.
Okay, questions? Council? All right, we'll move on then. Finance Director, Melanie Brandis.
July's month-end reports are in your packet. That's it. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Melanie. Questions? Okay, we're going to move along then to ordinances, resolutions. We have a second reading on an ordinance. Ordinance number 22-1989. An ordinance to amend Chapter 153-31, Property Maintenance Code of the Mount Holly Code of Ordinances regarding exterior property areas.
So I did speak with Bill Knight, and kind of as we were talking about, I remembered this as we were going. I think maybe 2 or 3 times we've put this before council, and the main contention was if this overgrowth could be misconstrued as gardens. A lot of people have those front yard gardens. So there's now language in here to exclude cultivated flowers and gardens. The second page, it's item 1. We exempt trees, but it's basically, I guess there's been complaints that, mail won't be delivered to a house, or we're just worried that if police or fire had to go onto a property, that a place could be so overgrown that we would not have access to it. That's what this is getting at. And I guess this is also based off of a Springdale ordinance as well.
Okay. I did have a question.
Sure.
On number 3 on the second page. Does that mean, like, I've got ivy growing on my garage? It's been there over 30 years. You can't get it off. I mean, is that okay? It's not hurting nothing.
I mean, if it's something that's, directly attached to the house like that, I mean, I wouldn't feel like that would be in the way, to me at least. I think it's more if you have, you know, a tree or a bush that's
Says
kind of
because it
covering your
infiltrated the
front
siding or
door
building material, so that's why I question it, because it is on my bricks.
That says infiltrated.
Does it?
So I would say if it's going into the cracks.
Into the cracks, then, okay, I just want to make sure.
That's what I read.
Because somebody, one of the property people here years and years ago said something to us. I'm like, we've tried. We've put acid, we've tried everything. We can't get it off. I mean, it's been there forever.
It's holding the garage together.
It probably is. Although a tree hit my garage, 100-foot tree, and it didn't damage it, so it's a well-built garage.
I mean, I think at least the intention of that is if, you know, if a tree was like growing into
Okay.
a window.
All right,
you
I just
know,
want to make sure.
You know, causing damage that could then cause more damage to the property.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So bushes and shrubs that are overhanging a sidewalk and impeding the
Right.
sidewalk at the street, not a private sidewalk, but those can be, force the owner to cut them back.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the intention is just if it's excessive, that, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if you walk through and you kind of hit your head on something, you know, that's not a big
Well,
deal, but it's just.
Yeah, there's some that I walk that I have to duck.
Right.
That would go
Yeah,
around.
that would not be the intention to, you know,
Right.
items like that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, council? I would ask for a motion to adopt then.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 22-1989.
Okay, Mr. Mueller's made a motion to adopt. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. George has seconded. Roll call.
Mrs. Lingo.
Aye.
Mr. Parsons.
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa.
Aye.
Mr. George.
Aye.
Mr. Mueller.
Aye.
Mr. Young.
Aye.
Okay, by a vote of 6-0, ordinance 22-1989 is adopted. Then we have a resolution. It'd be the first reading on a resolution number 22-1189. An emergency resolution to emergency resolution to accept the terms of the Distributor Settlement Participation Agreement and Janssen Settlement Participation Agreement pursuant to the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding and establishing a separate One Ohio Special Funds under RC number 5705-09F to receive such One Ohio funds. Okay, some lawyer wrote that. Sorry.
There is and there.
Who cares to explain what I just read?
So basically, the state and all the municipalities within the state joined together for this legal case. This is the settlement. Basically, we're going to get $1,300 in 18 payments. By passing this, we're accepting the funds and accepting the requirements for how it should be used. Looks like it's page 13 of, I know it's a lot of pages, kind of goes into how they want the funds to be used. So we'll kind of do some strategizing to see where we use it in the community, but this is basically accepting those funds and, I guess, relieving anyone of any further liability towards us, right? Yeah.
I know Full Rain was using a lot of their funds because they spent a lot of money on Narcan. I don't know what. I mean, that's expensive stuff. so
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reimbursing that for.
sure.
It didn't look like it fell within the programs or the uses that were acceptable, but, I mean, I'm sure replenishing your supplies of medicines and things like that should be covered, I guess.
And that's why it was long, because, you know, I would just caution the finance director to take a good look at it and see and make sure. And it's gonna change, I mean, that's one thing, this happens so fast, and now we're kinda locked in, and I think that, I think there's 18 payments are gonna be over 18 years too, so
Oh.
don't get too excited.
Oh, nice.
We've got one. Uh-huh, yes.
So I guess just sort of administratively, it also sets up a new fund. Since it's restricted usage, we have a separate fund now. So if you look and turn over the first page in your packet, it'll be, or in your financial packet, 739, it says the One Ohio Opioid Fund. That's where we'll put the funds and where we'll expense out of too, so.
And in there also is exhibits A and B. Just to make sure we cross our T's, dot our I's, I will officially file
there it is.
And some of the times, with the entities I've done the same thing, and some of them were on the list that were getting monies. I did the same thing for every entity, and some of them, they said, hey, you need to go ahead and sign this piece of paper or this and that. So I'm just doing it for all the entities just to make sure,
Sure.
you know.
Mr. Bauer, do you wish first reading or,
You wanted it done in one,
Suspend.
right? Is that, is there a
The
timeline?
quicker, so ideally, once I get a copy of that, I was gonna attach that resolution and send it off to the people with me signing that. So I would prefer.
Yeah, preferably a single reading. Sure.
well, money's coming in, not going out, so that's a little
Yeah.
little easier decision. Any questions, council?
I'd like to
What
make
is
a
your
motion to suspend the two reading rule.
Okay, Ms. Lingo has made a motion to suspend the 2-reading rule. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Mueller. Roll call when you're ready.
Mrs. Lingo,
Aye.
Mr. Parsons,
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa,
Aye.
Mr. George,
Aye.
Mr. Mueller,
Aye.
Mr. Young.
Aye.
Okay, by a vote of 6-0, the 2-reading rule has been suspended.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, well,
Thank you,
we-
sir.
We got to pass it yet, so,
Got it.
thank you. Any other questions?
Nope.
Everybody has a good understanding of what this is going on here? Okay, then I would ask a motion to adopt.
Make a motion to adopt Resolution 22-1189.
Okay, Mr. Parsons has made a motion to adopt. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. George has seconded. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lingo,
Aye.
Mr. Parsons,
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa,
Aye.
Mr. George,
Aye.
Mr. Mueller,
Aye.
Mr. Young.
Aye.
Okay, by a vote of 6-0, resolution number 22-1189 is adopted. Okay, that's all the resolutions and ordinances we have. Old Business Council.
Did Mr., the gentleman from Perry Street get his alley transferred to himself, to him?
We got the survey information. I've submitted that to Scott, and we just have to put it into an ordinance.
so
He
they're
gave it to me
still
on
doing-
Friday. So, I mean, it's going, it's moving,
Okay.
but yeah, not ready for,
Being worked out. Okay, good.
yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions for old business? New business.
I was just gonna mention back to 2 meetings next month, so September 6th.
Yes.
And then I was also gonna mention, so Greg Cutter, I'll have him at the September 6th meeting, Director of Public Works.
Okay.
So he'll just give a report. You guys had wanted to see department heads. So if you have any questions beforehand, definitely let me know, just so we can prepare. Otherwise, he'll just kind of give a general update, and you can shoot questions at him on the spot, but anything in particular, just shoot me an email or call in. Anything's fine.
Okay.
I will not be attending the next meeting.
It is my birthday, so don't spend too much money on the gifts, though, okay?
It's in the mail.
Yeah. Okay. No other new business then, council? Then
Need
we
to
have
go
a
to
request.
executive.
We have a request for the executive session, yes. Mr. Parsons.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session in accordance with Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.22G2, to consider purchase of property.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Parsons has made a motion to go into executive session, seconded by Mrs. Lingo. After I have a roll call, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Lingo, Mr. Parsons,
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa,
Aye.
Mr. George,
Aye.
Mr. Mueller,
Aye.
Mr. Young.
Okay, by a vote of 6-0, we're going into executive session. When we come back from executive session, we will be dismissing the meeting. So at the moment, the meeting is temporarily adjourned.